The town had always been quiet, the kind of place where everyone knew each other, and days often passed in gentle routine. Shops opened, children went to school, and neighbors exchanged greetings while walking their dogs or carrying groceries. Life was simple, predictable, and ordinary. But everything changed one morning when the sky darkened slightly and a strange, shimmering light appeared above the town square. People stopped what they were doing, squinting and pointing. At first, some thought it was a weather phenomenon, a rare type of cloud reflecting the sun. But as the light grew brighter and a gentle hum filled the air, it became clear that this was something extraordinary, something no one in the town had ever seen before. From the light emerged a figure. She descended gracefully, her movements precise yet fluid, like she was floating rather than walking. Her presence was immediately commanding. People gasped. Children hid behind their parents' legs, but even from a distance, it was impossible not to feel drawn to her. She was tall, with striking features that seemed both familiar and otherworldly. Her skin had a subtle, almost metallic sheen, and her eyes sparkled with colors that shifted like the surface of a calm, flowing river. Her clothing was unlike anything anyone had seen, elegant, flowing garments that shimmered with faint light, changing colors as she moved. She carried herself with an air of authority, as if she belonged to a world far beyond Earth. Word of her arrival spread quickly. Phones rang, cameras clicked, and people crowded around, wanting to see the visitor with their own eyes. When she spoke, her voice was clear and melodic, carrying easily over the murmuring crowd. She introduced herself as the Alien Queen, a visitor from a distant world, one that had observed Earth for centuries. She did not arrive with hostility or threat. Instead, her curiosity was evident, as if she had come to understand, not conquer. The Queen explained her purpose. She had traveled across galaxies to find someone worthy of joining her world through a unique challenge. It was not a test of strength, wealth, or fame. Instead, she sought qualities that were rare and remarkable: courage, empathy, intelligence, and integrity. She called it a marriage challenge, but it was more than a simple competition. It was a trial that would test every part of a person's character, the kind of trial that could change lives forever. At first, the town reacted with disbelief. Many laughed, assuming it was some elaborate prank or marketing stunt. Others were skeptical, saying that such a being could not exist, and that someone must be putting on a costume with special effects. Yet the shimmer of the Queen's presence, the calm authority in her voice, and the subtle gravity of her words left little room for doubt. Even the skeptics had to admit that something remarkable was happening. Among the crowd stood Alex, an ordinary man with an ordinary life. He worked at a small bookstore, spent his evenings reading and writing, and often walked through the park. In silence, thinking about small, everyday things. Alex was not strong, famous, or particularly skilled at anything extraordinary. Yet something about the Queen's words stirred a sense of curiosity deep inside him. Unlike the others, he did not laugh or scoff. He listened, he watched, and as she spoke, he felt a quiet, growing certainty that this challenge, strange as it seemed, was something he could not ignore. The Queen announced the rules of her challenge. Competitors would face a series of tasks designed to test their mind, heart, and courage. Some challenges would appear impossible at first, blending elements of human knowledge with alien logic. Others would require emotional insight, moral choices, or acts of genuine kindness. Every participant would be observed closely, not just by the Queen herself, but by her council of advisors, beings who were intelligent, discerning, and capable of detecting even the smallest hints of honesty or deceit. The announcement stirred excitement and tension. People from the town and surrounding areas were eager to participate. Some were motivated by ambition, others by curiosity. Competitors prepared, thinking they would rely on physical strength, clever tricks, or clever planning. Most underestimated. The challenge, believing that extraordinary feats or flashy actions would be enough to win. Alex, however, did not see it that way. He understood that the challenge was not about showing off or being clever in conventional ways. It was about being true to oneself, about facing each task with honesty and integrity, and about showing qualities that were deeper than appearances. He knew it would not be easy, but he also felt that the journey itself, the process of learning, observing, and testing himself, was worth more than winning or losing. As the first day of the challenge approached, the town square was transformed. Strange devices and glowing symbols appeared, some floating in mid-air, others embedded in the ground. It was a combination of human and alien technology, a place that seemed both familiar and completely new. The competitors were gathered, some confident, others nervous. Alex observed quietly, taking in every detail. He noted the way the Queen moved, the expressions of her advisors, and the reactions of the other participants. Every detail seemed important, every gesture meaningful. The first trial would begin soon. The air was thick with anticipation, and a quiet sense of awe settled over the town. People lined the edges of the square, eager to witness the impossible unfold. The Queen's presence was calm but powerful, a reminder that this was no ordinary competition. Every action, every choice, every moment would matter. In that moment, Alex realized that winning was not the goal. Understanding, courage, and the willingness to act rightly were the true measures. He felt a strange sense of calm excitement. Whatever happened, he would face the challenge with integrity and honesty. He was ready to step into the unknown, to test himself against the extraordinary, and perhaps, unknowingly, to surprise the world, including the alien Queen herself. As the first trial was about to begin, a hush fell over the crowd. The Queen raised her hand, signaling the start. Lights shimmered, and the first set of challenges appeared, twisting in patterns that defied immediate understanding. The competitors exchanged nervous glances, some frustrated, some excited. Alex, however, took a deep breath and stepped forward. He did not rush, did not panic. He observed, thought, and prepared to face what lay ahead. In that quiet determination, something remarkable began to stir. The alien Queen, who had seen countless beings from countless worlds, paused briefly, her eyes lingering on Alex. There was a spark of curiosity, a hint of something she had not expected. In that instant, the ordinary human, the quiet man from a small town, became more than just a participant. He became a symbol of possibility, a reminder that sometimes those who seem ordinary are capable of the most extraordinary things. And so, the challenge began, the first step in a journey that would test mind, heart, and courage, and that would change not only Alex's life, but the way the world, and even the alien Queen, would see humanity forever. The first trials had begun, and the town square had transformed into a scene that looked like something out of a dream. Strange devices floated in the air, glowing softly, while others pulsed with color from the ground. Patterns appeared and shifted as if the environment itself was alive. The competitors looked around, many confused and some openly frustrated. They were faced with puzzles and challenges that blended human logic with alien concepts. It was a test that no one had ever seen before, a combination of intelligence, creativity, and adaptability. Alex took a deep breath and observed the patterns carefully. At first glance, the puzzle seemed impossible. Symbols moved and shifted, and paths appeared to change every few seconds. Many participants rushed forward, trying to force solutions, relying on memorization, speed, or sheer guesswork. But Alex noticed something they did not. The patterns had rhythm, a subtle logic that required patience and careful observation rather than haste. He began to focus, following the smallest details. Each symbol and each shift in color carried meaning. While others grew anxious and impatient, Alex remained calm. He experimented carefully, trying small movements and observing how the environment reacted. Slowly, a solution started to emerge. It was not about forcing the answer, it was about understanding the challenge, letting it reveal itself through attention and thought. Meanwhile, the alien queen watched quietly from her elevated position, her eyes observing every move. She had expected chaos, haste, and frustration from the humans, but Alex's calm approach caught her attention. She had seen countless beings from many worlds, and most would have tried to cheat, guess, or force their way through. Alex did none of that. His methodical, patient approach was unusual and intriguing. Other participants began to notice Alex's progress. Some whispered among themselves, impressed but also slightly envious. They could see that he was succeeding where they were failing, but they could not understand how. Many continued to struggle, growing frustrated with the shifting symbols and complex sequences. Some gave up entirely, walking away in defeat, while others tried to copy what they thought Alex was doing, without understanding the deeper logic. Alex's mind worked steadily. He did not panic when patterns shifted unexpectedly. Instead, he adapted, observing carefully and adjusting his approach. Step by step, he solved one puzzle after another. Each small success built his confidence, but he did not let pride take over. He knew the challenge was far from over, and one misstep could undo all his progress. His focus was total, his determination quiet, but unshakable. By midday, the first part of the trial was almost complete. Competitors had faced obstacles that tested their patience and intelligence. Some had fallen behind, exhausted and frustrated. Others had given up entirely, convinced that the challenge was beyond them. But Alex remained calm, observing every detail and thinking through every step. His approach was slow but deliberate, precise but flexible. As he reached the final puzzle of the first trial, a complex structure of floating symbols and shifting platforms, he paused. The others had rushed ahead, forcing the structure to collapse or making mistakes that would take time to recover from. Alex, however, studied the movements carefully. He noticed a pattern in the shifts, a rhythm that repeated in cycles. Timing was crucial. He waited for the exact moment, then moved quickly but carefully, placing the symbols in the correct sequence. The structure stabilized, the final piece locking into place. A soft hum filled the air, and the glowing patterns shifted into a harmonious alignment. Alex had completed the first trial. There was no dramatic fanfare, no loud applause, just a quiet acknowledgement from the Queen and her council. Yet the weight of achievement was enormous. He had succeeded where others had struggled, not by speed or force, but by patience, observation, and careful thought. The alien queen's eyes lingered on Alex. There was a subtle, almost imperceptible smile on her face. She had expected competition, but not this. Humans, in her experience, were often impulsive, quick to frustration, and guided by self-interest. Alex's success had demonstrated something different, a quiet strength, a combination of intelligence, patience, and calm courage. She made a note to observe him more closely in the next stages of the challenge. As the day continued, the trials became more complex. Participants were faced with unexpected changes, puzzles that adapted to their actions, and challenges that required not just intelligence, but creativity. Many struggled to keep up. Alex, however, maintained his steady approach. He adapted to the changes, thinking carefully and using each failure as a lesson. He never panicked, never became frustrated, and never gave up. By evening, the first trials were over, and the results were clear. Alex had succeeded where many had failed. His calm, methodical approach had allowed him to navigate challenges that seemed impossible to others. While some competitors complained or blamed luck, the Queen and her advisors recognized the deeper qualities he had shown: intelligence, patience, adaptability, and the ability to remain calm under pressure. Word began to spread among the townspeople and other competitors. Alex, the quiet man from the bookstore, had impressed the alien queen herself. People whispered in awe and curiosity. How had someone so ordinary achieved something so extraordinary? Many were still skeptical, but even they could not deny that Alex's approach had been remarkable. That evening, as the sun set and the sky filled with a warm glow, Alex reflected on the day's events. He was not proud or boastful. He was thoughtful. He knew the challenges ahead would be even more difficult, and that intelligence alone would not be enough. The trials would test not only his mind, but also his heart, his courage, and his character. He felt a quiet determination to continue, to face whatever lay ahead with honesty, integrity, and careful thought. The town, meanwhile, buzzed with excitement. People speculated about what the next challenges might be. They wondered how Alex would perform and whether anyone could surpass him. Some were inspired by his calm approach and determination. Others were amazed that someone so ordinary could achieve what so many had failed to do. The alien queen, still observing from her elevated position, remained silent but thoughtful. Alex's success in the first trial had not just been about solving puzzles. It had revealed something deeper about his character. She had seen the patience, observation, and quiet determination that set him apart. She did not yet know how the rest of the challenges would unfold, but she knew that Alex had captured her attention in a way no other human had. As night fell, the glowing structures of the challenge dimmed, and the town returned to its quiet rhythm. But nothing would ever be the same. People talked about the day's events, about the strange and extraordinary visitor from another world, and about Alex, the ordinary human who had accomplished something extraordinary. Alex went home. That night, thinking about the first trials and the lessons he had learned, he knew that the challenges ahead would not be easy. He would face situations that tested not only his mind, but his heart. But he also knew that he had already proven something important, that calm thought, observation, and integrity could succeed where speed, force, or clever tricks could not. And so with quiet determination, he prepared for the next day, ready to face new puzzles, new trials, and new opportunities to demonstrate the qualities that might ultimately allow him to win the Alien Queen's challenge and achieve something truly remarkable. After the first trials, the town had changed in subtle ways. People were talking about the Alien Queen and her challenge constantly. Even those who had doubted the possibility of such a being visiting Earth began to consider the extraordinary reality of what had happened. But for Alex, the first trials had only been the beginning. The next stage of the challenge was not about cleverness, puzzles, or observation. It was about the heart, about empathy, understanding, and the ability to make difficult choices under pressure. The Alien Queen appeared at the town square once. Again, her presence calm yet commanding. She explained the nature of the next trial. Participants would face emotional tests, situations that required genuine compassion, kindness, and moral courage. The challenge would put them in scenarios where they could either act selfishly for personal gain or show empathy and concern for others, even at a cost to themselves. It was a type of test that the Queen valued highly, one that often revealed more about a person than any puzzle or physical challenge ever could. As the competitors listened, many felt anxious. They had succeeded in the first trial through intellect and careful thinking, but now the rules seemed less clear and the outcomes were less predictable. Some participants believed that winning would require manipulation or strategic choices to appear compassionate. Others grew frustrated, feeling unsure how to navigate a test that was guided by morality rather than logic. Alex, however, felt a quiet clarity. He understood that the trial was not about performing kindness for reward, but about showing genuine care for others. He knew that shortcuts, tricks, or clever strategies would not work here. What mattered was the truth of his actions, the sincerity behind them. He resolved to approach each scenario with honesty, guided by his conscience and sense of right and wrong. The first scenario presented itself quickly. Competitors were given the choice to complete a task that would earn them points toward victory. But in order to succeed fully, someone else, a fellow participant, would need help. Many humans hesitated. Some calculated the risk, wondering if helping would cost them too much. Others ignored the opportunity, focusing only on themselves. Alex observed the situation carefully. He noticed a young woman struggling with her task, her face etched with frustration and worry. She was trying, but the challenge was complex, and she was about to fail. Alex had a choice: continue with his own task and secure his points, or assist her, knowing that helping might slow him down. Without hesitation, he moved to help her. He guided her gently, explaining what to do, showing patience and encouraging her to keep trying. The young woman's eyes widened with surprise and relief. Together, they completed the task, earning success not just for her but for both of them. Some competitors looked on with shock, believing Alex had made a mistake by slowing himself down. But the alien queen and her advisors watched closely, their expressions unreadable but focused. Alex's decision, quiet as it was, carried a weight far beyond the immediate task. The next scenario pushed the participants even further. They were presented with a simulated crisis. A small group of beings, neither human nor entirely alien, appeared to be in danger. Competitors could choose to ignore them and complete the challenge quickly, or attempt to save the beings, risking failure in the process. Many participants hesitated, torn between ambition and conscience. Some tried to act strategically, helping partially but not fully committing. Others refused entirely. Alex acted without hesitation. He approached the beings carefully, assessing the situation and guiding them to safety. He remained calm, thinking through each step, but always with genuine concern. He did not rush for points or recognition. His focus was on doing what was right. His actions were deliberate, measured, and full of empathy. As he helped, he noticed other competitors beginning to follow his example, inspired by his sincerity. But Alex did not act to set an example. He acted because it was the right thing to do. This distinction, subtle as it was, mattered deeply. The alien queen and her council observed quietly, noting not just the outcome, but the intent behind every action. It was clear to them that Alex's heart was aligned with the values they sought in a partner for her world. By midday, the emotional trial reached its most difficult challenge. Competitors faced moral dilemmas that required them to make choices affecting others in ways they could not predict. Some situations tested loyalty, others tested courage, and still others tested honesty and fairness. Many participants struggled, their decisions guided by self-interest or fear of failure. They debated endlessly, second-guessing themselves, sometimes making mistakes that could not be undone. Alex, in contrast, relied on his intuition and empathy. He considered the feelings and needs of those around him, weighed the consequences of his actions, and acted with integrity. He made choices that were difficult but right, even when they required personal sacrifice or delayed his own progress. He did not seek recognition. He sought to act according to his principles, to do what he believed was best for everyone involved. The alien queen's attention was fully on him. She had seen many beings try and fail at trials like this, but Alex's consistency, compassion, and courage were unlike anything she had encountered. His actions demonstrated not only kindness, but wisdom. the ability to balance heart and mind, empathy and logic. She found herself intrigued, almost puzzled, by the depth of his understanding and the strength of his character. As the day drew to a close, the results of the emotional trial became evident. Many competitors had faltered, their choices revealing selfishness, indecision, or lack of empathy. Alex, on the other hand, had moved through the challenges with steady determination and genuine care. His actions had not gone unnoticed. The crowd watching the trials began to murmur in admiration, surprised that someone so ordinary in appearance could demonstrate such extraordinary moral courage. For Alex, the experience was transformative. He realized that intelligence and patience, which had served him well in the first trials, were not enough to face all the challenges. The true measure of a person, he understood now, was not just how they solved puzzles or faced danger, but how they treated others when no one else could help. This insight gave him a new sense of purpose and a deeper understanding of what it meant to be human, and perhaps, in a small way, what it meant to be extraordinary. The alien queen, observing from her elevated position, remained composed, but thoughtful. Alex's performance had surprised her, challenging her assumptions about humanity. She had expected impulsiveness, selfishness, and weakness, but instead she had seen calm wisdom, empathy, and courage. This human had shown qualities that could not be measured in points or physical skill, qualities that mattered deeply in her world and in the decisions she would have to make about the future. As the sun set over the town, the emotional trial concluded, leaving a lasting impression on all who had witnessed it. The competitors, humbled and reflective, began to understand that the challenge was not about winning alone, it was about character, about the choices made when faced with difficulty and moral uncertainty. Alex had not just participated, he had set an example, showing that true courage and integrity could shine even in the most complicated and unpredictable situations. That night, Alex returned home, tired but thoughtful. He reflected on the lessons of the day and the importance of empathy, patience, and moral courage. He knew that the trials were far from over, that the next challenges would test his strength, resilience, and wisdom in new ways. But he also felt a quiet confidence, a sense that by staying true to himself and acting with integrity, he could face whatever lay ahead. The town buzzed with discussion. People spoke of Alex's remarkable decisions, of the way he had helped others and shown genuine care. The alien queen's presence loomed large in everyone's minds, and curiosity and anticipation filled the air. For many, Alex had become more than a participant. He had become a symbol of hope, kindness, and the extraordinary potential of the human spirit. And so, the emotional trials came to an end, leaving both competitors and observers with a lasting impression that courage was not only measured in physical feats or clever solutions, but in the choices made when acting from the heart. Alex had passed this test with quiet dignity, earning the attention and respect of the alien queen in a way that few could have imagined. The journey was far from over, but he had proven that the qualities that truly mattered could shine brightest when they were needed most. The morning of the final challenge arrived with a strange mix of anticipation and tension. The town square, once familiar and calm, had transformed into a scene of mystery and wonder. Alien structures floated above the ground, glowing softly, while intricate pathways of light and color wound across the plaza. The air hummed with energy, and spectators lined the edges, eager to witness the last stage of the challenge. Competitors were nervous, unsure what lay ahead. This was the moment that would determine who could claim victory and prove themselves worthy in the eyes of the alien queen. The queen appeared, her presence calm but powerful. She addressed the competitors, explaining that the final challenge combined all the lessons learned so far. Participants would face tests of intelligence, moral courage, emotional strength, and quick thinking under pressure. There would be no predictable paths, no clear rules, only situations designed to reveal their true character. The Queen emphasized that every decision mattered, and the way they reacted under stress would determine their success. Alex stood quietly, observing the shifting environment. Unlike other competitors, who whispered nervously to each other or tried to make quick plans, he focused on understanding the patterns of the challenge. He remembered the first trials, where patience and observation had guided him, and the second, where empathy and moral courage had proven more important than speed or cleverness. This final test would require everything he had learned so far, and more. The first part of the challenge appeared as a complex structure that seemed alive. Platforms moved unpredictably, symbols changed constantly, and pathways disappeared and reappeared at intervals. Many competitors rushed forward, trying to force solutions or brute force their way through. Predictably, they stumbled, fell, or became disoriented. Alex, however, observed carefully. He noted the rhythm in the shifting platforms and timed his movements with precision. Step by step, he navigated the structure, moving with both caution and confidence. Next came a series of moral dilemmas woven into the challenge. Small simulated crises appeared, presenting situations where Alex could either prioritize his own success or help others in need. A competitor was trapped in a collapsing platform, and rescuing them meant slowing down and risking mistakes. Alex did not hesitate. He carefully assisted the competitor, ensuring they were safe before continuing. The choice slowed him momentarily, but his calm focus allowed him to recover quickly and continue toward his objective. As he progressed, new layers of difficulty emerged. Complex puzzles appeared that required both logic and creativity to solve, while simulated emergencies tested his ability to remain calm under pressure. In one scenario, he had to defuse a problem that could have caused harm to others if handled incorrectly. The symbols shifted rapidly, the pathways moved unpredictably, and a loud hum filled the air as the pressure increased. Alex breathed deeply, observing each change, analyzing patterns, and responding carefully. He solved the puzzle not through guesswork, but through attention, reasoning, and adaptability. The final stage was the most challenging. A simulated crisis demanded a difficult moral choice. He could complete the challenge quickly by ignoring the needs of a group of beings in danger, or he could help them, risking failure and delay. Many competitors hesitated, weighing the risks against their ambition. Some tried to act strategically, helping partially but not fully committing. Others ignored the scenario entirely. Alex acted instinctively. He approached the beings, assessed the situation, and took steps to ensure their safety. Every move was deliberate, measured, and guided by compassion. He did not pause to calculate how it would affect his score or standing. His focus was entirely on doing what was right. The creatures were saved, and Alex emerged having completed the challenge in a way that reflected both intelligence and moral courage. When he reached the end, the alien queen and her advisors were silent for a moment, observing him. Alex's performance had been flawless, not because he was the fastest or most cunning, but because he had shown patience, empathy, courage, and intelligence simultaneously. No other competitor had managed to balance all these qualities under such pressure. The audience, too, was captivated, whispering in disbelief and admiration. The queen finally spoke, her voice calm but carrying weight. She praised Alex not for speed or technical skill, but for the integrity, empathy, and courage he had shown throughout the trials. She explained that the final challenge was designed to reveal the true character of a participant, and Alex had demonstrated that he possessed the rare qualities she sought. His calm determination, balanced with empathy and wisdom, had set him apart from everyone else. For Alex, the final challenge had been exhausting, but enlightening. He realized that true strength came from a combination of mind, heart, and courage, and that patience and integrity could guide him even in the most difficult situations. The trials had tested not only his abilities, but his character, and he had emerged stronger, more confident, and deeply aware of what it meant to act rightly. Under pressure, the competitors gathered around, some humbled, others reflective. Many realized that the final challenge had revealed more than their abilities. It had revealed their values. Alex had not just participated, he had set an example, demonstrating that extraordinary qualities often appear in those who remain calm, thoughtful, and compassionate. The sun began to set, casting long shadows across the town square. The glow of the alien structures softened, and the final challenge came to an end. The crowd remained silent, waiting for the Queen's next words. She had observed closely, taken note of every decision, every action, and now she was ready to announce the results. Alex, standing quietly, felt no arrogance or pride. He had done his best, acted with integrity, and faced every test honestly. Whatever the outcome, he knew he had proven something important, not just to the alien queen, but to himself.
The moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. The alien queen stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. The crowd hushed, the competitors held their breath, and even the sun seemed to pause in the sky. The queen's voice was calm, but carried immense authority as she addressed everyone present. She began by praising all the participants for their courage, creativity, and determination. Each competitor had faced extraordinary challenges, but she emphasized that only one could truly embody the qualities her world valued most: empathy, intelligence, courage, and integrity. The Queen's gaze shifted to Alex, steady and unwavering. A murmur ran through the crowd. Everyone had watched the final trials, and many were astonished by the ordinary-looking human who had succeeded where others had struggled. The Queen's expression was unreadable, a mix of contemplation, curiosity, and respect. Then, in a clear, deliberate tone, she declared that Alex had won. Gasps echoed through the town square. Competitors looked at one another in disbelief. Spectators whispered and pointed, unable to believe that an ordinary human had achieved what so many had failed to do. Even some of the more confident competitors were silent, realizing that Alex had surpassed them not through strength, speed, or clever tricks, but through qualities far more valuable, qualities that could not be measured by conventional means. The Queen continued, explaining her decision. Alex had demonstrated patience, calm reasoning, empathy, and moral courage. He had faced impossible puzzles, made difficult decisions under pressure, and helped others without concern for personal gain. In short, he had shown the rare combination of intelligence and heart that the Queen sought. His actions had revealed not just skill but character, and character was what mattered most in her world. Alex stepped forward, his expression calm and thoughtful. He did not boast or seek attention. Instead, he expressed gratitude to the Queen and her advisors, acknowledging the challenges he had faced and the lessons he had learned. He spoke of the importance of kindness, integrity, and understanding, and of the extraordinary experience of participating in a challenge that tested both mind and heart. The Queen's reaction surprised everyone further. Rather than overt joy or excitement, she appeared contemplative, almost reflective. She admitted that she had underestimated the potential of humans. She had expected impulsiveness, selfishness, and weakness. Yet Alex had demonstrated qualities that surpassed her expectations. His success had challenged her assumptions, forcing her to reconsider the capabilities of an entire species. Spectators watched in awe as the Queen explained the significance of the victory. Alex's win was more than personal. It was a symbol of what humans could achieve when guided by empathy, intelligence, and courage. His actions had bridged the gap between worlds, showing that ordinary beings could accomplish extraordinary things through integrity and heart. Competitors approached, Alex offering congratulations and admiration. Many admitted they had misjudged him, assuming his quiet demeanor meant he was unprepared or incapable. Yet, through patience, observation, and moral courage, he had outshined them all. His humility only deepened the respect others felt for him. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the town square, the alien queen made a final statement. She praised Alex for embodying qualities that were rare and precious. She emphasized that this victory was not merely about winning a challenge, but about demonstrating the true potential of character. She expressed hope that his example would inspire both humans and visitors from her world to value empathy, integrity, and courage above all else. Alex looked around at the crowd, at the competitors, and at the queen. He felt a sense of fulfillment, not from triumph alone, but from the journey he had taken, the lessons learned, the challenges overcome, and the opportunity to show what a human could achieve when acting with integrity. The moment was quiet but powerful, filled with admiration, reflection, and a shared sense of possibility. As the event concluded, the town slowly returned to normal life, but nothing would ever be quite the same. The story of Alex's victory spread far beyond the town, inspiring people everywhere. It became a tale of hope, courage, and the extraordinary potential that exists within ordinary individuals. The alien queen's reaction, thoughtful and respectful, remained a historic moment, a reminder that sometimes the most remarkable achievements come not from strength or fame, but from empathy, intelligence, and moral courage. Alex returned to his simple life, changed in profound ways. He had faced trials that tested every part of him and had emerged stronger, wiser, and more confident. His journey had shown that ordinary humans, guided by integrity and compassion, could achieve extraordinary outcomes, even winning the admiration of an alien queen and inspiring an entire world.